In this clip from the Self Unemployed Podcast, Joshua Kinsey-Clough discusses the critical role of nutrition and sleep in his 5 pillars of personal power. Joshua explains how fueling your body with the right nutrients and maintaining healthy sleep habits are essential for high performance and long-term well-being. He emphasises the importance of simplifying your diet and building daily habits to support your goals, drawing insightful parallels between managing nutrition and managing wealth. So yeah, you were saying earlier that that as well as the physical world, nutrition as well as exercise, nutrition is really important, and also sleep. So tell us a little bit more about those.
So the reason for nutrition and sleep inside that physical pillar is because from a nutritional standpoint, if you have a high performance vehicle, you can't just use any oil, any fuel. You have to fuel it with the correct fuel. And a high performance vehicle requires a high quality fuel source. Same with a high quality vehicle needs a high quality oil. It needs high quality components, period. So from the standpoint of nutrition, if we're fueling this body, and this body is giving us in return the ability to navigate this life that we're living, and it's allowing us to compute, to use our minds. Every time we think, we use calories, we use energy,
It's just occurred to me there's another huge parallel between, nutrition and wealth, in the sense that we don't learn anything about this in school. The system doesn't teach us anything about this, almost to the point where it's suspiciously like they maybe don't want us to know. It's not that they've just forgotten. I don't know. It's weird, isn't it?
I mean, it's weird if you think the world wants you to be your best. But if you look at the evidence, not to be a conspiracy theorist, by the way, but if you look at the evidence, the reason I have taken it upon myself to self-educate and learn about how I can be my best is because nothing in this world is geared up to make me my best. So if I don't take control of me being my best, and I learn the ways in which I can do that, and I learn how to direct my attention, my focus, which we'll touch on with the mental in a moment, and I learn to direct my energy, raise my vibration, raise my energy, and direct it in the direction of my goals, my personal destination, no one is going to come and save me and help me. I can't ask for a handout because no one's going to give it to me. So do I think it's weird? I don't think it's weird. I just think it's obvious.
Well, when you look at it like that, because at school and stuff, we don't learn anything about nutrition. We're just told, go to the supermarket and then you see what's available. And okay, it's possible to get a good diet, but it's hard. Most of the stuff is heavily processed, and so it's really hard. But it's the same with the financial.
Yeah, man, it's so all hard.
Yeah, there's easy ways to invest, and they make these products available, but they don't tell us about them at school, or push them to it, or explain why it's so good, or the power of it.
And that is the same with nutrition. Like, nutrition doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to eat a lot of food, and you don't need to eat a lot of different foods. You just need to know what foods to eat, and then you need to just have moderation when it comes to consuming them, and also pay attention to how you feel when you're first figuring out how you're navigating your nutritional kind of lifestyle, to know when is the best time for you to consume food. Because your body will give you so much feedback if you pay attention to it. And it will tell you, at this point of the day, give me something. At this point of the day, give me something. At this point of the day, don't. Like, if you keep giving me something here, we're going to keep on experiencing this dip or this lull or this brain fog. So, like, paying attention, having that feedback, and then nourishing your body accordingly it's like, man, it's like a drug. Like, everyone looks for this, like, quick fix. How can I be better? How can you be better? Eat better, exercise more, sleep well, and you will skyrocket. You become a superhero, man. You become you become superhuman, because most humans are so accustomed to this poor managed state of existence that the moment you start to take control of these physical habits and you really start to action them, you start to stand out, because people are like, dude, like, not only do you look different, but like you feel different. You know, like the energy you carry is just different, because they sense that they're lacking something. They're like, man, I feel tired, and this guy's like on it all the time.
So when I was paying more attention to my health recently and nutrition, I got an app that sort of put in everything that I eat, and it tracks, and it tells you how much. And I realized then how difficult it is to get like the right amount of protein, and how difficult it is to keep the amount of fat down, at least for my diet. So is that typical though? I just want to quickly say thank you so much for watching or listening. If you are watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe and all that, and subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review. All those things are super useful. But if you like what you're hearing and you'd like to become self-unemployed yourself, then I'd really like to build a community. And the way that I'm doing that is I've got a free mailing list that you can join. And when we record these episodes, they're going to be put out as live streams. So you'll get to see a little bit behind the scenes. You'll get to see the episodes before they go out on the main channel and on the podcast. And you'll get to interact with us as we're recording. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, head on over to the website, links in the description. And I look forward to chatting with you as we record future episodes. Is that just me?
No, you just said a key word there. You said keep the fat down.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I know you want to have a certain amount, and fat's probably not as bad as carbs and things like that. But you still want it. You don't want it to be like double the amount that you should be having.
No, you don't want it to be double the amount you should be having. Certainly not. But I think it's easier when you simplify things. Yeah. So let's just, for example, just to give you an example, say, for example, you limited yourself to eating chicken, eggs, red meat, white fish, oily fish, vegetables, fruit, nuts, right? And then carbohydrates, you had rice and maybe some sourdough bread, like just to give you something that you, right? You just limit yourself to that. Use those ingredients for a few days and tell me how hard it is to go over consuming your fats. It won't be. But when we're consuming food,
so it is me then. It is my habit.
It's not you. This is the thing. It's not you. It is the way things are kind of built. You look at the ingredient, not just the ingredients. Let's put ingredients to the side. We look at the macronutrients in most of the foods that most people would pick up and just consume on a regular basis. And look at the breakdown. Like protein, dead. Carbs, mid or high. Fat, mid or high, depending on how they wanted to balance it. Right? So if you go around consuming those types of foods and you don't fuel yourself with the right ingredients, then it will be extremely difficult to get enough protein and not overconsume the other stuff. But when you break it down, make it simple and just like, right, let's simplify this, it becomes a lot easier to manage. And like simplicity is the key.
So why then is it so hard to get a balanced diet? Why is it so hard to get enough protein? And I mean, is it because it's more expensive, generally speaking, and then so they tend to skip it out in the manufacturing process and make it more expensive? Is that?
I think because protein isn't as palatable. Like if you, all right, let's talk about creating a product, right? If you're going to create a product, are you going to make it stand out to the market and you're going to make them want to consume it? Are you going to make your food tasty, like real tasty, dangerously tasty? Or are you going to make it healthy? Right? And you can find a balance between the two. But if you really want it to be like super tasty, man, there's a high chance it's not going to be super healthy. But you can create a meal with basic ingredients and herbs and spices and make it super tasty. But you've got to invest the time to learn it and you've got to invest the time to make it. You know, so it's kind of like, it's the payoff. It's the payoff. But it's the same with the investment, right? Someone says to you, I've got a high risk, highly volatile investment opportunity that's going to give you a great return if it pays off. Right?
Yeah.
And then someone else comes along and they say, look, this isn't as spicy. It's not as sexy. But if you put your money here over the next 10 years, man, your bank account's going to look gorgeous.
Yeah. It's less sexy. And it's exactly, you're right. It's exactly the same. It's like an index fund. It's very safe, but it's just not sexy as crypto or, you know, individual stocks, which I'm not knocking. I mean, those things.
They have their place.
Yeah. Well, I think their place is in phase 3. Phase 2, index funds, safe things. Phase 3, yes, do more risky things, but you really need to know what you're doing and you really need to educate yourself. And it's really hard to get the right education or get into the right communities and stuff. You can't just read a few things or things on the internet or watch a few YouTube videos, and you'll if you do that, then you suddenly think that you're an expert and you know what you're doing, and that's a very dangerous place to be in financially. And I guess maybe the similar thing with fitness and diets and stuff, and that's why there's so many fad diets that people try for a while, and they think, oh yeah, I understand this, because someone gave them an understanding which wasn't necessarily truth, and then they tried it and it didn't work, and then, you know, so I think that's partly why.
It is really interesting, because my philosophy has kind of evolved into this, like, moving away from diets and reverting back to the simple basic principles that allow me to fuel my body. Because it's not a diet. It's literally like, how do you live? Because a diet is like, it creates this box and it goes, I take this thing for a moment and I'm going to look through this lens for a bit. And then the moment I stop dieting, I'm going to put it down and I go back. No, it's about, what are your daily habits? Like, how do you live?
Okay, well, if you are still watching, thank you for watching. And I hope you've enjoyed the show. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure you're subscribed on whatever platform you're on. Leave us a review as well. All that stuff really helps. But the main thing is, head on over to our website, selfunemployed.co.uk, and there you'll be able to enter your email address. And once you've done that, you'll get invited to join us when we are recording future episodes. They're going to go out as live streams on YouTube, but not to the public, only to people who are on that mailing list. So if you do that, you'll be able to interact with us, ask questions as we're recording future episodes. So if you're looking to grow your wealth and become self-unemployed, let's do it together. I'll see you next time.